Welcome back to Orange Hat Reviews. We're going to be covering the Zoe Quinn thing a little bit more today. DC comic writer Zoe Quinn responds to reports of inconsistencies in accusations against Alakaloka. Claims findings are gross, misogynistic, fake PI nonsense. Well, I think I've made my position clear. I think this woman deserves a prison cell. Anyway, let's get into this. Zoe Quinn has returned from her self-imposed social media exile, issuing a statement in which she denies any responsibility for Holoca's suicide and refuses to address the recently uncovered evidence which directly contradicts her initial accusations against Holoka. September 12th, Quinn reverted her Twitter account from private to public statuses and responded to recent public backlash against her by posting a tweet containing 4 screenshots of the text she had written in the Notes app of her iPhone. Despite publicly accusing Holoka of egregious sexual and emotional abuse and subjugating him to the unforgiving court of internet opinion, Quinn begins by denying any culpability for Holoca's suicide, drawing attention on the topic of suicide to her recent struggles and claiming to have nothing but love and sympathy for anyone else hurt in the wake of all this. This woman is so disgusting. No one coming forward about abuse, yada yada. She actually says, suicide is an awful thing, full stop. I know this intimately as I have struggled against it since I was a teenager, and I have been put on watch since the events and have been leaning on my support system heavily. I have nothing but love and sympathies for anyone else hurt in the wake of all this. This woman just continues to love to play victim. She's not a victim, she's a perpetrator in this case. Quinn proceeds to claim she is saddened by recent events, flippantly addressing her accusations against Holoka as whatever drove Alec to hurt himself, and proclaimed that publicly coming forward with her accusations was her only option remaining. No, it really wasn't. You could have went to the police. That is what people do in the real world. Instead, you chose to take this crap to social media. You didn't go to the police, Zoe. You went to social media and you freaking had this man's life ruined to the point where he saw no way of recovery. So yeah, I'm sorry, in my opinion, you do bear a little bit of responsibility for that man's death. I'm saddened for how much harm and hurt so many of us were going through in silence. Yeah, she continues to do it. I'm not even going to read her words. Her words are infuriating to me. I don't know if I've told you guys this in any of my previous videos, but I have gone through what Alakaloka did. I went through such a dark time from being falsely accused and unjustly incarcerated. I actually one time did contemplate suicide while incarcerated. Fortunately, though, I did not take that step. Anyway, her response to the people who have come out against her: I'm not going to dignify any of the gross misogynistic fake PI nonsense of strangers trying to scrutinize how imperfect a victim I was for cheap clicks and YouTube subs. They're lower than ambulance chasers, and addressing tabloids is a waste of time because truth isn't really what they're looking for in the first place. Bitch, I'm not doing this for views. I'm doing this because it's personal. There is proof, absolute proof, that you lied. You said in a specific date you were being held against your will by Alakaloka. But on those dates, you were on Twitter saying how lovely some place is that you were. You were hanging out, not in a room, not being a hostage, but you were hanging out with friends and doing all other sorts of crap. You're a lying sack of shit. Quinn then states that her story has been corroborated repeatedly and decries anyone using this to bully anyone else into staying silent about abuse and refocuses the recent tragedies solely around her personal feelings, stating that the accusations were not about proving anything about him. It was about no longer keeping a secret that had been making me periodically suicidal inside, and claiming that she doesn't think she's ever going to be the same. This woman is so freaking disgusting. I mean, she just loves to make it all about herself. First off, believe it or not, she's a narcissist. Secondly, she's pretending to be a victim so she can get more attention on herself and whatnot. Facing a mountain of lingering questions and the aforementioned unaddressed contradictory evidence, Quinn then attempts to completely distance herself from the situation, stating that she is horrified by every element of the situation and never wants to speak of it again, while dishonestly painting her critics and those again are asking for answers and accountability as attempting to discourage survivors from speaking up. I have deactivated to try to minimize the sickos who would try to mine my feed for more reasons to cause more pain. I will be posting again to promote my work because that's part of my job I can no longer put off. And I owe it to my co-collaborators to show up for at least that much. Under advisement from my support network and mental health professionals, I will not be monitoring most aspects of this account for some time. Basically meaning she has damage control people to monitor her account. I'm horrified by every element of this situation and I never want to speak of it again, but I refuse to be sorry for naming a broken stair, and I refuse to be made an example of to discourage survivors from speaking up. Woman, we aren't trying to tell people not to speak up. I encourage anyone who has been actually sexually abused to speak up. I encourage them to go to the police and all of that. You didn't. You went to social media and had this man bullied to death in the court of public opinion. Since returning, Quinn has used her Twitter account to promote her upcoming comic book work on DC's The Infected Deathbringer. Fitting name for Zoe Quinn's comic arc that she is doing. Ugh. Pictures of her dog. Quinn has made no mention of the Patreon account she has not updated in over a year, or her failed Kickstarter project, Kickstarted in the Butt, Chuck Tingle Digital Adventure, which raised $85,000 in crowdfunding, but has not yet been released despite promised 2017 release date, and has not seen an update to backers in over a year. So yeah, she's kind of holding on to money that she shouldn't be holding on to. Anyway, that's the story that I wanted to cover. This woman is pure trash. Zoe Quinn and every other woman who has falsely accused a person, my own accuser included, I will not mention that person's name ever, are the worst scum on earth. They do it for attention. They do it for what? Sympathy or whatever? It is disgusting that people have their lives ruined when these kind of things come out. when fake accusations like this, that actually do ruin people's lives. It took me 2 years to get over harassment and death threats from people after my own situation. I am now finally, all the harassment actually has finally stopped. Nobody has gone after me on Twitter like they used to right after I was released and whatnot. After my situation concluded, I was harassed for 2 freaking years. I had received death threats. I had received people saying or mentioning my address and such. I could handle that stuff. Unfortunately, Mr. Holoka could not, and it cost him his life. And this woman, I don't care what anybody says, yes, I think she is responsible for his death. Her actions indirectly led to him taking his life. That's the video. And by the way, to Zoe Quinn, I say this. Your heinous false accusation is a disgrace to people who have actually been assaulted, and it is your actions, your words, and all of that that make women who have actually been abused harder to believe. That is the video. Y'all know the drill. Not even going to bother doing the outro. Let me know. You guys can comment on whatever you want. This has been Orange Hat Reviews. I'll catch y'all on the next one.